Thank you, Mr. Sade and Mr. Shroder. Despite the fact that, like my friend and colleague, Mr. Balderson, I'm sure you are a Buckeyes fan. You are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Crow, Representative Balderson. It's an honor to speak to the committee today on such an important aspect as innovative research. Excuse me, especially with FTI's long history in the program. And as most of you know, the program started in 1977 under the National Science Foundation. It didn't take long for the SBA to figure out how important a program it was, and it culminated with President Reagan signing it into law in 1982. Since that time, there's been tremendous numbers of economic studies that have occurred on the program. When you look at those, what you can clearly see is, well, money extremely well spent, something that we can all be proud of. In this particular case, there's aspects like the National Cancer Institute that talk about the return from taxes is a 3-to-1 ratio. There's hundreds of thousands of jobs in just that study alone that are very high-paying, good jobs. The revenue generated by companies are 10 times that. My background with the Defense Department is a little bit more associated with some of those studies as well. And as you know, there are programs out there like just the Joint Strike Fighter program has published reports that said that SBIR technologies have saved $500 million on just one program within the Defense Department. It's something that we can all be proud of, while they also publish the fact that there's a 12-to-1, a 19-to-1, and a 23-to-1 ratio. I sit here and smile when I think of what Congress has done, because effectively you have become the Shark Tank of the government long before the program was popular. You took the risk to invest in the technologies, and as small businesses, we thank you for that very, very much. The key is to understand what the technology and the program does. And realistically, a lot of people in the community will focus on the funding, the phase 1s and phase 2s. But let me tell you, as a small business, what that does for you is it allows you to have a few people to work on a concept and a prototype in hopes that ultimately you can commercialize it. The real program success is in the phase 3s. That's where the jobs are. That's when customers can acquire as much as they want with any kind of funding that they want. It's jobs, jobs, and more jobs. And that's where our companies, our employees, the families of those employees, that's where the growth comes from, and that's what we very much appreciate. And realistically, while the program has been in place for 37 years, it's this committee and what it's done to evolve the program over the years that is so critical. Because the subtle changes of allowing a company to grow beyond the 500 limit when you're going into the phase 3 and producing more jobs was critical to the program's success. But it wasn't just that. The recent addition of the 3% administration fee to allow the government people that we interact with to come to us and actually work on it is equally critical. You can look at a variety of those aspects. The most recent guidance from the SBA talking about use the phase 3 program to the maximum extent possible is critical for companies like FTI, because when we go to the government and talk about here's the technology, you agree that it might be valuable and you can use it, they need to see from you and from the SBA and from the DOD that it's allowed, that they don't have to be scared, that they can take it and run. So again, from our perspective, we thank you for subtle changes throughout the decades. It's very, very critical to us, which then leads us to, so what's next? And I think there will continue to be subtle changes as this program goes on. Those of us that are in the battle of it can give you some suggestions. I think they got to come from your heart. I will tell you, after 37 years, I still don't understand why the program's not permanent. It's something that it's in every phone that we have today. It's across the examples you gave. I really do think it's time to make the program permanent. And I realize that some will hesitate because they'll worry about the ability to monitor it. I think there's ways you can build into the law that you can consistently check on it. If you do look at considering it to be a permanent program, I think what you put into that law is critical as well, because things like rapid innovation funding, which is the key starter to get those new customers over that risk aspect since you've only built a prototype, the 3% administration fee to allow the government to actually help you run the program. All of those things are critical to the success of any permanent program that you look at, as well as even who's in the program. You know, American-based technology companies that can take these things and run are critical. So mostly, I thank you very much for the opportunity today, for the changes that you have done over the years, and for the courage to look at the program in the future. Be happy to answer any questions as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shroder. We appreciate the testimony that all of you shared today.